Within the abandoned PoppyPlaytime factory, Doey lived in secrecy alongside his two closest companions, Pianosaurus, a towering dinosaur-shaped mechanical piano, and Yarnaby, a nimble, sentient ball of yarn. The three of them had long since given up on the outside world, hiding from humanity's relentless pursuit of anything it deemed unnatural. Within the cold, metallic walls of the forsaken factory, they had built a home, a sanctuary where they could exist in peace. One day, as Doey wandered outside the factory's ruins in search of supplies, he stumbled upon a sight both breathtaking and alarming. Lying in the snow, barely conscious, was a girl unlike any he had ever seen. Her skin was as pale as fresh frost, her hair a cascade of icy silver, and her eyes shimmered like frozen lakes. She was Iciella, a being of cold, both beautiful and haunting. Though he hesitated, something in her frailty, in her shivering form, stirred something deep within him. Doey carried her back to the factory, nursing her back to health. As the days passed, a bond formed between them. Iciella, with her soft words and delicate laughter, melted the isolation that had long encased Doey's heart. He introduced her to Pianosaurus and Yarnaby, who, despite their initial reservations, grew fond of her. For the first time in years, the factory was filled with warmth and joy, but it was all a lie. One fateful evening, as the three friends slept soundly, Iciella slipped away into the night. Moments later, an army of frost-clad figures descended upon the factory. They moved like shadows, swift and merciless, setting fire to the structure as they stormed in. Doey awoke to the acrid scent of burning metal, to the agonized cries of his friends as they were dragged away into the night. Smoke stung his eyes as he caught sight of Iciella standing amongst her comrades, her expression unreadable. "Why?" Doey croaked, his voice breaking amidst the roaring flames. Iciella's cold gaze met his. "You don't belong in this world," she whispered, before vanishing into the darkness, leaving him to perish in the inferno. But the fire did not consume him. As the flames raged, they mixed with the toxic chemicals leaking from shattered containers scattered throughout the factory. The noxious fumes seeped into his lungs, the burning liquids fusing with his flesh. Pain racked his body, twisting and reshaping him into something monstrous. No longer just Doey, no longer just the timid creature who had once hidden from the world. He had become something else entirely, a fusion of agony and vengeance, of fire and ruin. With newfound power coursing through his veins, he set his sights on the world of cool as ice. The frozen expanse stood in stark contrast to the smouldering ruins he had left behind. Iciella and her frostborn kin revelled in their victory, unaware of the storm that was about to descend upon them. Doey tore through their icy kingdom like a wildfire, his body a grotesque amalgamation of seared flesh, toxic chemicals, and molten rage. He was no longer prey, he was the hunter. One by one, he hunted down those who had betrayed him, their chilling screams echoing through the frostbitten land as he devoured them whole. When at last he found Iciella, there was no hesitation, no remorse. He consumed her, erasing every trace of her deception, every memory of her false warmth. But his hunger did not stop there. Pianosaurus and Yarnaby, his dear friends, stood before him, terrified, pleading for him to recognize them. But the corruption had taken hold, and in his frenzy, he swallowed them too. Their forms merged with his, their essence intertwining until they were no longer separate beings, but one monstrous entity. The creature that had once been Doey stood amidst the frozen wasteland, no longer knowing where one soul ended and another began. He had won, he had avenged them all, and yet he had lost everything.